my heart's only functioning at 8-10% for a full year before I even get that LVAD. I'm running on fumes other than when I'm using drugs, then I'm running like a normal person. So we'll get to that point where I'm sitting in my truck. I look like I'm a bloated corpse. I still refuse to go to the hospital. And I'm like, I just need to go. I'm swollen up at this point. And I had 57 pounds of water weight on me. That's how bad my heart was failing. I'm carrying around a fanny pack with a cord. And people always ask me, is that feeding tube? I'm like, nah, it's my heart in my bag. So the gym has actually helped my heart get better. My heart function went from 8% to 45%. Now my goal is to not only feel better, but to look the results too. Because if I sit there and look better, then it's going to keep me motivating me to go to the gym and keeping my heart good. I'm moving forward mentally, physically, and just healing my heart.
Today's guest is one of the most inspiring humans you'll ever meet. Someone who proves that even when life literally keeps you plugged into a machine, your mindset can still set you free. Kody Schaffner, known online as Just a Dude on Batteries, lives every day strapped to an LVAD, a left ventricular assist device that keeps his heart beating and keeps him alive. He's been through open heart surgery, he carries backup batteries everywhere he goes, and he knows that if power cuts, he has minutes to act. But Kody refuses to live in fear. He's chosen purpose, positivity, and a hustle instead. For 2 years, he's been saying, one day I'm getting this LVAD out, and the odds were stacked against him. But through hard work, discipline, and relentless belief, he's raised his heart function from 8% to, I want to say 65% now. It keeps changing every day, making the impossible possible. Today, he walks his dog, he hits the gym, celebrates the small wins, and shows millions of people that heart failure is not the end of life. For him, it was the beginning of a better one. In this conversation, we talk about gratitude, survival, identity, and what it means to rebuild your life when your heartbeat depends on a machine, but your joy doesn't. This is Kody's story. Kody, it's so awesome to have you on the show, man. I mean, obviously our accidents, our situations were not the same, but there's a lot of stuff I see on your social media that I can relate to. So, dude, I'm just stoked to have you on here. Thanks for showing up today.
I appreciate you, man. I love being on here. It's awesome. You got a good thing going on. You're reaching awesome people and you're giving people hope. I love it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But likewise with you too. So, dude, we talked about it a little bit before we jumped on, but for people just listening, discovering you for the first time, let's hear about your story and the whole, just a dude on batteries thing, because it's wild.
Like as far as my addict or all that stuff?
Yeah, wherever you want to go. Yeah,
okay,
because I think that sets up what happened, right?
Yeah, so I'll leak you with something I haven't told anybody. I was in a bad accident when I was about 18 years old. I lost my girlfriend. We flipped 13 to 16 times coming back from Yankee Lake, and yeah, lost her. I don't want to get into details, but that kind of messed with me mentally. 2011, then I lost my dad. 2011, my grandpa, and then lost my mom in 2017, and that's when I really spiraled. I was a maintenance guy, and I just took like a spiraling out of control thing and decided I'm going to go climb cell phone towers.
Okay.
Because that would
that's elite.
That would sit there and help me with my habit, because I knew all cell tower climbers were drug users, so I can get paid to use drugs. And
what? That's how you came up with doing that? You're like, I'm already so at this point, I mean, one, I'm sorry, because that's a lot of hard shit back to back to back to back. So then from there, I guess you start taking some prescription drugs, or was it any kind of drugs?
So when I was 12, I was already taking Adderall. So I was already familiar with stimulants and all that junk. And when I wouldn't get my Adderall dose, I would flip over to Coke. I just went heavier into a Coke habit with that.
Wow.
And I was drinking heavily to come down, and because of depression and all that junk. So I really super loaded my heart and kind of made it clap together going down and going back up, and just I messed it up big time. But
Whoa.
yeah,
So, man, that's heavy. You go from there, you start working on these cell phone towers, and now I saw somewhere you were like from 200 to like 2,000 feet up, right? And now,
yeah, I loved it.
what are you doing? Like, what does that look like? What are you doing when you're up there?
So we were working on AT&T, T-Mobile upgrades, 5G upgrades, and we were just taking old antennas, dropping them down, putting new ones up, stuff like that. But if we were working on the broadcast towers, that's the ones that are way up there.
Mhm.
We were working for radio services and stuff like that.
Wow.
It was pretty fun work. It's definitely different lifting 10,000 pounds off of a tower on a little rope.
Yeah,
And
I
you
bet.
kind of got to be high to do that shit. Either that or mentally unstable.
Okay. But yeah, I mean that's some balls right there. But you were doing that while you were also like getting high and everything too? Or like
Oh yeah.
okay, what were you
Yeah,
doing
I
up
would
there?
keep dollar bills in my pocket, and I had preset lines ready to go, and we'd strip cables off and we'd have our tubes, and that's how we could sit there and snort the drugs. It was intense. When you're an addict, you can find any way to do just about anything you want.
I mean, yeah, it's amazing though. Like it's just crazy. You're doing something that seems pretty high stress, high pressure. You're doing this other stuff to cope. How does it all culminate? Like, how do you find out like shit's hit the fan with all this?
So I actually left the tower industry because I got tired of bouncing around. I was going to Florida, California, I was everywhere
Okay.
bouncing around, and I got tired of not being home. So I left and started my own business and kept doing the drugs as a home remodel contractor, and built actually a six-figure business while I was on drugs because I
Wow.
was never sleeping. So
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, you figure that. But the one day I was coming out from Home Depot, and I was carrying 5 gallons of paint, and I just passed out and hit the floor, smashed my nose up, blood everywhere. And I was
Whoa.
like, man, something's wrong. I shouldn't be passing out like that. So I went into the hospital and told them that prior I was having a hard time breathing, like pneumonia feeling for a month, and I didn't know what was going on. Then they ran a EKG, and they were like, "Your heart's like about to quit." And I
Wow.
was like, "Really? That's nice to know." Like,
Yeah. All right.
so,
I mean, for people like who are maybe just listening, it's like I'm not laughing at you, right? But it's like
yeah,
I'm laughing at how crazy all this sounds. It's like
yeah,
you were literally running the engine at full capacity. You're putting nitrous fuel in it, and all of a
yeah,
sudden, yeah, like the body was telling you though. The body was like, "Hey, man, I'm struggling here. This is rough."
yeah.
What are the doctors say after, they give you this information and you tell them what you've been doing?
So I didn't tell them that shit at first, and I was sitting there denying it, and I was like, "They're gonna run a drug test." I'm like, if you have me pee in a cup, I'm going to burn the bottom of the cup. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Straight like
I was like,
acid
because
and
I'm using anything and everything at this point just to
wow.
keep going. I felt like crank high voltage.
Okay, okay.
You,
You ever see that Jason Statham movie where he has to
yeah,
keep his
crank.
is that what it was? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, that I love that movie, but you were living that. That's insane.
yeah. That's basically what I was doing. Just to keep going, I was using more drugs at that point. At
Okay.
that point, the addiction had a hold of me, and I couldn't let go of it because I needed that to wake up in the morning. And
Wow.
it was bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first time in the hospital.
Mhm.
So I was in there for 3 weeks. They got me stable. Heart was 8 to 10%. And I functioned like that for about a year,
What?
and my dumbass kept using.
No
So I
way.
think that's the only reason I kept going for a year. Was at that point I was broke, so I was using meth and coke, and I was selling the meth to get the coke money, and then I got tired doing that, so then I was just using meth, and it was all snorting. But
Yeah. Jesus,
yeah.
dude. Holy crap. So what are you like? Walk me through what it felt like. Like, I know physically, but like, what was the thoughts going in your head? I'm always curious to hear what people were thinking about in these moments. Like, yeah, what would you tell yourself?
So you were in the hospital for a long period of time. You
Yeah.
probably had delirium.
Oh yeah, for sure. The first couple of months, it was just like, what is going on? Like, I didn't know what was
Yeah,
real, what was not real. I was seeing crazy visions of things. So yeah.
there you go, bro. That's an addict. It's one long delirium trip. And you just keep feeding that drug addiction while you're sitting there seeing shadow people and all that junk and talking to yourself. Because I mean, I've had delirium and I had the addict delirium, and it's the same damn thing pretty
You
much.
think? Okay, okay. That's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
I almost like am worried you're making it sound too fun. Like,
No.
because I don't like I mean, it's kind of I think we've been through so much heavy shit, right? And it's like you
Yeah.
kind of gotta just laugh at it. I know that I do. I think my sense of humor has gotten a lot more dark, but like,
Yeah.
you know, but what was the moment though where you were like, "Man, this is actually not fun. It's not cool to do this. Like, I gotta change my ways." And like, how do you get to that point?
So when I kept running out of resources, so I had rental properties and I kept losing them because my drug habit.
Mm,
So I was down to my last rental property, and it was a duplex, and one side was actually messed up by a drug user, and the other side I had tenants in. And I was borrowing electric from them, running it out to my truck in a space heater to heat my truck so I could sleep in my truck because I couldn't go inside the unit that the drug user used. So I was like, man, this ain't the life.
yeah.
Like, they got to be looking down on me. I'm borrowing off of them now and they're renting off of me. This doesn't make sense.
Right.
So,
Yeah, yeah. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I could imagine probably feels pretty low and pretty tough. At this moment, do you have the LVAT? Like, because I feel
no.
like that's one of the things you talk about the most.
Yeah, so this is all pre-LVAD. This
Wow.
is yeah. My heart's only functioning at 8-10% for a full year before I even get that LVAD.
Okay.
So I'm running on fumes other than when I'm using drugs, then I'm running like a normal person.
Okay.
So
Wow.
um so we'll get to that point where I'm sitting in my truck. I asked my brother and sister-in-law for help, and they let me stay over at their place. And then I still refuse to go to the hospital. And I'm like, I just need to go. I'm swollen up at this point. I think you've seen some pictures I put on Instagram.
Yeah.
I look like I'm a bloated corpse.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, I just need to go. So I went there and I had 57 pounds of water weight on me.
Wow.
That's how bad my heart was feeling. I went in there and I didn't come out till after I had the LVAD.
Wow. So,
That was it.
yeah, I don't really know a lot about that medical, but because the heart was failing, it was just like you were holding in a bunch of water. Is that how it
Yeah, I
works?
couldn't breathe. It was in my lungs, it was in my legs, my abdomen, my
Oh,
face.
wow.
And I mean, you can take one of the pictures or I can send it off Instagram for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like a thumbnail or something,
We'll
how I
share it.
went from this to that.
Yeah, man, we'll share it.
But
But okay,
yeah.
so you're at this point, you're super bloated and everything. You're with your brother, sister-in-law. Again, how do you go to the hospital? I guess you're still using. Do you pass out again? That puts you in the hospital, or like what happens?
So when I was staying with them, the deal was I was going to quit using. So I hadn't used for a month. And then when I went into the hospital, that's when the hospital took me serious and took the measurements that they needed to keep me alive. They put a balloon pump in and started pumping my heart for me and
Wow.
get me stable, getting the fluid off. Once the fluid came off, my heart came back a little bit, but
Okay.
then I needed to be shipped up to Cleveland to the hospital that does the LVADs, and then we went through that whole process. I was up there for about 3 months. So,
Wow, man. What did you start thinking when they're like, "Hey, you're gonna have to be on this LVAD machine," and also, is this something you're gonna have to be on the rest of your life?
so it was brought up to me that it would probably be the rest of my life or until I get transplant if I stay clean.
Yeah.
Because you have to be clean for 6 months to get a transplant. So the LVAD was my only option.
What'd you think about when they said that?
I turned it down for 2 weeks.
No
I
way.
I had to sit there and get over it, and it was the way they presented it because I didn't talk to anybody that had an LVAD, and that's kind of why I do these videos. It's brought up that you're going to carry around a 10-pound battery pack and you can't go in water anymore, and you're going to have a lot of restrictions.
Mhm.
You're going to have a 25-pound weight restriction, which, yeah, I'm way over that. So,
Wow. Dude, that would be intense. Like through my process in recovery, there was like I forgot what it was called, but basically I had this tube because I was in the bed for so long. I had basically a hole that formed by my tailbone. It's called like a pressure wound.
yeah,
So I had to be hooked up to this machine that would basically be like sucking out fluid from this open wound that was in me. And because I was so badly burned, I couldn't turn anything. And walking around with that was gnarly. Walking around with the IV bag on the rack thing was gnarly. But like now for you, it's like you're gonna have this thing attached to you all the time. That's a trip, man. That's like some heavy stuff. I
yeah.
get why you would want to turn it down. Like that makes sense.
And I did, and then my family kept talking to me, and I'm like, I don't want to be a burden to anybody else. I'm already a burden to myself here in the hospital, and
Yeah.
that just sounds like it's going to make life a lot more difficult. And
Hmm.
it was never presented like, hey, you would get your life back
Right.
to where you could actually move around and be able to do stuff. Cause I'm thinking, I'm going to be on disability. I'm not going to be able to do anything right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a caregiver, which I take care of all my stuff myself. I'm fully independent. So
Wow. Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
that's why I make these videos, man, because I want to present it to the people that you're going to get 90% of your life back, except for being in the water. You can't be in the water. That's the only thing.
And no, it's amazing that you do that, and your videos are incredible. Like obviously, you are incredible too, but there's a huge gap between I've now accepted I'm gonna be. With an LVAD the rest of my life. And now you just getting off the gym, hitting workouts, doing inspirational videos. How do we go from here, being that low to being where you're at right now? Like, what was the first step for you in like, I'm gonna change my life around?
About a month of depression
Okay.
after I got out of the hospital. So I was still in that mindset that I was going to have a caregiver. I'm like, one day I'm just like, how hard would it be to change my own bandage?
Yeah.
Like I stuck the mirror in front of me, and I was like, okay, so I'm sitting there changing my dressing. I'm like, all right, I can do that. I already changed my batteries myself, and that my sister-in-law is helping me organize my meds because I carry those with me everywhere I go because I'm on 20 something pills.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I mean, it's not that difficult to live by yourself. So I'm like, all right, if I feel a little bit better, I can manage more. So if I go to the gym, then I'll feel a little bit better. And I never had a gym membership in my life that I went to. I will say I had one before, but I did the same thing that everybody else does, get the gym membership and then never go.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to commit to myself. I'm going to go and I'm going to start videoing to stay accountable. And I'm going to post it on Facebook and Instagram. And when I did that, then I started getting followers, and people were like, yeah, keep going. I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep going. So it
Nice.
wasn't just me, it was everybody cheering me on that kept me going.
Yeah, for sure, and that helps. But man, I just got to give you a lot of credit. One, for me, it was so hard to start doing things, in front of a camera in public. Like, now having a metal hand and I have a ton of scars everywhere. That I was so like embarrassed to go in public again. And I had, you had your month of depression. You say 1 month, man. I had like months of it. I was like, I
Yeah.
got out of the hospital. It was COVID, so there wasn't a lot of incentive for me me to go that many places anyway. I was at home.
Yeah.
But dude, I give you so much props for like even saying like I'm gonna record these videos and put it online. What made you say like screw it? I'm just gonna start posting my journey.
So Alex Becker, it was a video of his that I watched when I was learning how to do crypto and stock trading and all that stuff
Okay.
in the hospital. And he's like, to stay accountable, post one video at least a week. And I'm like, I'm gonna do better than that. I'm gonna try and post every day
Yeah.
because that'll keep me accountable every day. And that maybe that'll help me out in my depression. And it really did, between that and cognitive therapy. But
Yeah.
dude, I give it to you because I don't know how you do it. You're stronger than me, man.
Not at all. I believe me. I just I feel like anybody could do it, and that's why I love your story, man. Because you just kept going, and it's funny, like whether it was your pre LVAD life, your pre passing out life, like you were a hustler. You had these businesses. You were, I mean, working on those towers is no joke either. Like that's hard work. It takes a lot of balls, and it's like even though the drug use and all the things that you had to experience, the depression, like you've seemed to me like you've always been that guy that's just like I'm just gonna go do it. And I wonder,
Yeah.
did that change from like back when you were doing drugs to now? Like, are there things that are the same? And I guess what's changed for you?
So pre-drug use to now, my hustling has always been the same. Like I've always wanted to like hopefully be comfortable one day. But yeah, drug use screwed that up because I kept using the money for the drugs. So I kept digging myself in a hole. I was making 100 grand in the tower industry and somehow I was still broke. I was like, what is going on, man?
Yeah, yeah, that's a trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, 100 grand. Like you made six figures, and then, it reminds me of that Sublime song. Where like I spent it all. I had $1 million, but I
Yeah.
spent it all. Yeah, and I wonder, like, do you know where that comes from in you? Like I'm always fascinated by people's drive.
I just watched my parents do it. Like both of my parents always just they that my dad and my mom always used to sit there and say, "Don't talk about it, just do it, then talk about it and teach it after you do it."
That's
And so
awesome.
I always that always stuck with me. So that's what I do.
Yeah, man, that's incredible. And that's so well said too. Especially like on the social media era, I mean, I know for a fact you're not faking it. I really try hard to make sure like people just get the real from me, like the real things I'm
Yeah.
going through. But yeah, showing up and doing it and then being able to teach, I think is another thing you said. And that's powerful, man. I feel like that hit me right there.
I'm still working on the teaching part. I'm learning better communication skills.
Dude,
So that's
you're doing it.
that's the goal.
You're doing it. Yeah. All right. So you're starting to post these videos every day. What starts going on? Like, what do you learn? Because you talked about cognitive therapy. What do you learn from that? And what do you learn from like just being like, I'm going to post videos every single day?
So cognitive therapy, that was my depression starting to come back at me, and I was trying to fight it
Hmm.
while I was doing the videos. And someone in the videos, in the comments, sat there and said, "Hey, why don't you try cognitive therapy?" So I asked my doctor about it, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll get you in that." So I got in there and they're like little brain tests or whatever, like
Yeah.
pros and cons lists and flipping them around and realizing that what you would think right off the bat your would be your con list is actually your pros list. And it's just rewiring your thinking. And it's so important when you're dealing with depression to rewire your thinking because you can't really think when you're in depression. You're just stuck. And the way to get out of depression is to sit there and move forward because depression doesn't like chasing anything.
Yeah.
It only likes to sit there and attack you while you're stuck.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're right, man. It's so hard. I mean, it was so hard for me to just figure out like how do I do anything? And there'd be days when I would wake up and be like, I don't need to get out of bed. There's like no point in me getting out of bed. There's no reason for it, you know?
Yeah.
And but one thing that was really interesting about what you just said was like you were doing the checklist and you were doing, they're doing these cognitive tests. I'm sure they give you like a big checklist and you're like, do you feel, are you a one or are you a five? And then you go all the way
Yeah.
down, right?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day you're in there.
Yeah, but one thing you said was, you think that the bad things that you think were your good things. Can you tell me more about that?
So like I'm trying to think of how the actual test worked, but
Yeah.
it stuck with me because it was a pros and cons list.
Yeah.
And we were talking about why I don't want transplant and why it kind of solidified why I don't want transplant, because we were sitting there talking about I want a long-term effect.
Mhm.
So that's my main goal, is I want as much life as I can get now.
Yeah.
So transplant, it would be an easy fix because I would be able to go swimming again. So you would think that would be a pro, but it's actually a con, because the transplant would only give me 13 years of swimming. And I want that long life.
Right.
So then anti-rejection meds are
Mhm.
going to sit there and limit my life even more. I can't go to the gym as much because I'll be sick more, and stuff that I actually like. So where you would think right off the rip it would be giving me enough it would be giving me all this will to get the transplant, it's not, because it's actually limiting me more than the LVAD is.
Yeah.
And you
Wow.
got to kind of flip the pros and cons to sit there and see that.
Wow, man, that's amazing. I would have never realized that, if you didn't tell me that. But that makes sense, and it's like, what's more important to you? Is it longevity? Is swimming, I guess, for you more important than what you would do every day, which is like going to the gym
Yeah.
or, hanging out with friends, which you could do for a lot longer. Or, like you said, maybe you get 13 years of swimming. That's incredible, man.
Longevity over instant gratification.
Yeah, man.
So,
Which is so crazy too with you just saying that, because it seemed like your life before when you're doing all these drugs was instant gratification. It was
that's what
like,
it
I
was.
just want
Yeah.
to feel better now. I just want to feel good and have energy. Where do you start learning about this discipline of like, I don't need the instant gratification?
The gym teaches me that you get little small rewards, but if you're focusing on the big picture, you got to sit there and grind it out to get those results.
Yeah, definitely. Man, that's so great. What was the first time you like decided to go to the gym after all this?
It was when I was changing the bandage, I'm like, well, if I can do this and I can just get a little bit more energy, like walking on the treadmill, I'll sit there and I can do more stuff, and then I don't have to depend on people to do the stuff. So I start walking on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And then I started people watching what everybody's doing on the machines, because I haven't worked out before. So
Wow.
I'm sitting there and I'm seeing these dudes like say that they're going to get bigger off of these machines. So I'm going to go try those machines. Now
Yeah.
my goal is to not only feel better, but to look the results too. Because if I sit there and look better, then it's going to keep me motivating me to go to the gym and keeping my heart good. So I'm like, all right, we're in it for a long haul now.
Dude, that's amazing. Yeah, I hear you. It was so funny. So when I maybe not funny, but like when I was in the hospital, they kept trying to make me do all these exercises, right? And I was really badly burned. And so when you get burned, like if you've ever like lit a plastic bag on fire, it shrinks up. Like that's what happens to
Yeah.
your skin, and they would make me do these exercises and I would hate it. But, I started getting home and I started doing more exercises and they were like, "Hey, you should start walking." And then COVID happened and my wife and she was even my wife then, but she was like, "I think I'm going to be a yoga instructor. Like, would you want to do this like 30-day yoga challenge with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not? I don't know what's going to happen. Let's just do it." And there's nobody around. We're stuck in the house. And to your point, man, I was so bad at it in the beginning because my muscles had all atrophied, but my skin was so tight. It was just so hard, but I slowly started to build and I slowly was like, all right, yeah, this feels good. I'm like starting to get loose and like, oh, this wasn't as hard to like hold this pose anymore. And it's crazy how all of a sudden your brain is like, man, it went from I'm dreading doing this to I can't wait to do this today.
Yeah, and it's like that with the gym. I did the same thing in the hospital. That's the number one thing they try and get you to do is yoga.
Oh,
And then imagine me hooked up to well, you were probably hooked up to all the machines too, and you're trying to do yoga and you're not trying to pull out that pick line or not trying to unhook your breathing tube.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they're like, yeah, just do downward dog, and you're ripping out your catheter, and you're like, what the hell's going on?
I'm laughing because I'm thinking about a PT or
Yeah,
like an OT session where I still needed a walker. Like I needed a walker to even get to the room. And I was like, oh, on my back 24/7, you know? And like the only exercise I was really getting was just like literally putting my chest up and then laying back down. That was pretty much all I could do. Then it was like
yeah,
starting to walk again. But I remember they got me in the PT room and they're like, all right, we're going to flip you over in your stomach. And I mean, it sounds hilarious, but I was like scared of being on my stomach because I didn't know if I could even get up off of that. And somehow I got to, I don't even know what it is. It's like cat cow where you're on your knees and you're on your
yeah.
hands. And dude, that was man, you're just making me remember this. I didn't even remember this for the longest time, but I was like, that was a giant win. I was like, holy shit,
Yeah,
like I'm almost doing a push-up. Like, what? This is crazy. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the
I call that the single mom, the cat cow.
single mom. Between that and like the downward dog and everything, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How did you feel doing yoga? Because I don't know, don't let me judge here, but like I'm sure yoga wasn't a part of your daily routine before.
No, it wasn't. It felt weird at first, but I mean, it did feel good. But I was like, can we please like shut the curtains? I'm like a 6'3" dude doing yoga and like masculine, and I don't really want to be seen doing this shit while people are walking down the hall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely did.
But
I appreciate you say that. Like, how did you get over that? Did you stop not giving a shit? Did you stop, because you're right. Like I've said this before on the show, like I was, not that I thought I was the manliest of men, but like I was pretty fit. I was going to the gym. I was like a pilot. I'm like, I'm going to be like a commercial pilot. I felt, I used to do jujitsu. I felt like a badass, and then it went from that to like, I couldn't do anything for myself. How did you get over, who cares, man? I just got to go do this. I don't care what people think about me. I don't care what they say about me. I'm just going to go do what I need to do.
well, that's funny you say that because the gym was a huge like mind screw up for me, like or mind screw, I should say, because I'm carrying around a fanny pack with a cord, and people always ask me, "Is that a feeding tube or whatever?" I'm like, "No, it's my heart in my bag. Like I carry my heart in my bag."
Wow. Their faces just like shock, like, what?
Yeah. And then you don't answer them and you just walk away. I like screwing with people.
I love it.
Or I'll sit there and hit my alarm so it does a self test and it just goes beep, 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 beep. And I just walk away from them like, screw you.
They're like, what the hell? Are you
But
going to
no,
die,
dude.
dude?
Yeah, just coming out there and freaking doing it, just get your mind off of caring what other people think. After you do it so much and you get brought into the environment where people are going to constantly ask you the questions, you
Mhm.
just give up caring. Like
Yeah,
it's not a sensitive topic anymore.
right.
It's I'm a dude with batteries. That's what it is. Just a dude with batteries.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that name already, I was like, God, I love this guy's sense of humor. But just to be real for a second, man, I really love your perspective on it. Because I started going to the gym, like an actual like public gym for the first time Only like a couple months ago. I have not got enough. I got a bicycle instead, so now I like bike around this lake and everything. But
Yeah,
dude, it was kind of a big deal for me. I was so nervous. Most of my body's scarred. I have scars like, literally from my head down to my ankles. And I was like, how do I, go to the gym? Are people going to think, man, this guy with all these scars and this metal hand? But yeah, after a while, it was like, you know what? There's some people just sitting at home not doing anything. It's like at least I'm out here, doing the machines and trying to get after
that's
it.
it, bro. That's it.
Yeah. I love that, man. I still need a lot of your confidence. I think that's amazing. So again, like I think you're just doing so well. Like what else is there anything you attribute to your success, what you're doing now that yeah, helped you get to where you're at?
Honestly, just positive people. Like, I feel like positive people, you wanna just suck in their vibe, and it just helps you out so much, like and that's the awesome thing about content creation and starting a following is you give people hope, but they also give you hope, so that builds your confidence a lot.
Yeah, that's so well said. You're right, man. It's funny because, I still have so many friends who are like, social media, there's nothing good on it, or oh, that's a waste of time and everything. But to your point, man, I made a lot of friends off of it. And I've been able to give myself like a lot of confidence and like keep doing what you're doing. And I feel like I learn a lot on it, and as much as there's like bad shit out there and there's so many negative people who will say dumb stuff to you, there's also a lot of really good positive feedback that you get from it too, and you get to meet cool people and like
Yeah,
yeah, I agree. So I appreciate you kind of bringing in that out there because sometimes I feel, alone when people who don't post a lot or they don't, have a negative impression of social media. But yeah, I feel like I've gotten a lot of good out of it too.
yeah.
Yep.
Those people are always going to be negative because I call them negative Nancy's. They just focus on the negative the whole time and they don't want to look at the upside. They're the glass is half empty type of people. And I don't want that shit in my circle. So
Yeah.
I sit there and I try and keep my circle with positive people and I think that builds everybody up, not just myself, but everybody around me.
Dude, yep, you're so right. I mean, you're right. I think I've always been a positive person, but more so, especially when I started to go through my heavy depression. A lot of, I think what I preach now is like mindset shifts, right? Like the negative thoughts in our head, we don't have to believe it. But the other thing that you said is like surrounding yourself with people that build you up. So, how did you start building this circle? Because I think we're men of a certain age. Let's just say that
Yeah.
it's hard to make
Yeah.
friends as you get older. It's hard to meet new people. How did you start like building up like a solid network, friend group, or like yeah, just that?
Successful people. Sit there and go after them. They got the same mindset you do. Um, Investors, housing investors, people that aren't just going after money, but trying to build their freedom from the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
They have a whole different mindset that it's wired different. And it's not wired like the normal person. And they just tend to be a more positive group of people.
Yeah, absolutely. But how do you meet like are these people from your past that you're just now reaching back out to? Or like, like I don't know,
Facebook, bro.
you just started going on Facebook and
Facebook,
being in
yeah.
groups and then
Start adding random people that you like and cut out the negative people and just
wow.
meet new people.
So you would just see their post, you would add them as a friend, and then you just shoot them a message?
Yeah, just talk to them.
Wow.
Sit there and try and push some positivity their way, and hopefully they push some back your way.
Hey,
That's how you network in general with anything.
yeah, I love that.
You give value before you get anything.
Well said. Well said. I think that's a hard thing to do for people, and I think it's a hard thing for people to even think about sometimes, like I'll go to events too. Like I'm here in San Diego, but I'll go to a lot of like community events with people who are doing similar things, whether it's like, I don't even really think of myself as a creator, but I guess I do create content. I create a podcast, but there's like these creator meetups, and I used to be so nervous to go. I'm like, again,
Yeah.
I'd get in my head and be like, you're scarred, the metal hand. People are going to be like, what's this weirdo doing here? But then I just started going and then just chit chatting with people. And then I'd be talking to like the coolest people. And I'm like, man, all right, like these are people who want to make something too and build something too. But I think in our heads, we think it's gonna be harder, or we're gonna be bad at it, or we're gonna be nervous about it. And then it's just trying. And I'll say, like, for me, it's been a lot more positive interactions than negative interactions. But I
Yeah.
think you are case in point of it can be easier than we imagine it is.
Yeah, you just got to do it and then figure out afterward.
Yeah.
Jump in. I mean, I can't swim anymore, but I still use that term. Jump in and see if you can swim.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. Well, dude, yeah, you're like one in a million already. It's incredible. I really, unless there's anything else you want to share, because I feel like I've tapped into so much with you. I kind of asked people three questions I ask everybody basically. Yeah. Do you want to jump into that or anything else about your journey you want to share?
I mean, hopefully I won't have the LVAD forever. That's the ultimate goal. But nah, jump in, man,
All right.
because I'm ready for him.
Let's do it. Wait, what? So how would you not have the LVAD further? Is it you're not doing the transplant, right? What are you thinking? Like a
Nah.
new machine?
So the gym has actually helped my heart get better.
Really? Wow. It's
Yeah.
getting stronger. Like
The
the percentage is going up.
Yeah, I tell
Wow.
people to do resistance cardio because incline walking and elliptical and bike and all that stuff, that shit is so good for you. It's not funny.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
And I'm proof of it. My my heart function went from 8% to 45%.
Holy
So
shit. That's
yeah,
incredible. You're literally like healing your heart. That's insane,
yeah.
man. Wait, I got a question off the bat now. Um, what about eating? Do you eat anything differently?
So I do a heavy protein diet, but it's hard because I'm on warfarin, which is anticoagulant,
Yeah, yeah.
blood
Blood
thinner,
thinner. Yeah, yeah.
and it sits there and limits the vitamin K that I can intake. So I got to
Okay.
sit there and balance that with my diet, but usually about 200 grams of protein a day, and
Okay.
I'm making sure the heart's a muscle. It can rebuild like any other muscle to an
To
extent.
extent, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's amazing. Dude, that's incredible. Like, yeah, you're living proof, man. You could completely just flip things around and like make your
Just
life
put your
better.
mind to it, bro. That's it.
I love it, man. So, with that being said, I think I kind of know the answer, but one of the questions I ask everybody is what in your life is currently giving you the most amount of peace?
The gym.
Yeah, yeah.
The gym, because I know I'm moving forward. I'm moving forward mentally, physically, and just healing my heart. So
Wow.
yeah.
What would you tell people that have not gone to the gym and they're like, "Yeah, I know I need to go. I hate working out." Like, what's something you would tell them to help them get to the gym or even just work out?
I mean, I'm living proof. I would just tell them about my heart getting better. Like if you're talking about someone that's dealing with medical problems or just a regular person, if it's a regular person, you really can't convince anybody to do anything unless they want to.
Mm, got it. Wow, man. Yeah, that's insightful. I love it. All right, the next like question I ask everybody is if they're going through their lowest moment right now, their hardest point in life, they just hit their face in Home Depot moment. What's one piece of advice you would give them?
Go outside and get some sunlight. That will help you.
Okay, all right. I like it. That's the first time I've heard that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why
It
why
gets you
that?
out of that depression.
So for you, it's like sunlight helps like you feel less depressed. And you
Yeah,
feel like that every day?
yeah. That's how I beat my depression, sunlight.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
That's why I hate the winter change right now over here in Ohio, dude. It sucks. It gets dark at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't like the time change either. But hey, come out to San Diego, dude. Weather's real nice, right? It's too hot today.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
I'll take that.
hey, anytime, come on out. But yeah, man, it's been incredible to chat with you, Kody. You're the man. Literally 1 in a million. You are living proof that you can go to the darkest depths and flip your life around and do amazing things. Yeah, dude, you're one of my boys already. I feel like, yeah,
Hell yeah, bro.
I love chatting with you. Where can people find you? Where can they support you?
Just a dude on batteries. Look it up on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Instagram, TikTok. I'm everywhere.
Right on. Nice. Oh yeah, man. Well, dude, Kody, yeah, thanks so much. We'll make sure we link all of your stuff in the comments. And dude, thank you so much for joining today. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you big time.
Mahalo for listening to today's episode of the Sick Burn Podcast. Kody's journey is a powerful reminder that resilience isn't about avoiding struggle. It's about choosing who you become because of it. His honesty, his attitude, and the way he shows up for life, even while connected to an LVAD, is the kind of courage that changes people. If Kody's story moved you, please like, subscribe, and share this conversation with someone who needs some hope or a little reminder that their life isn't over. Not even close. And behind the scenes moments, inspiration, and upcoming episodes, please follow us on social media at SickBurnPod. As always, take care of yourself, if you can, someone else, and keep exploring the bright side of life's darkest moments. Aloha.